All right, welcome everybody. My name is Jeff Osterhaus. I'm the technical seed agronomist for cropland covering the state of Wisconsin. And joining me today is...
Hey everybody, Sammie Brantner here with Dekalb Asgrow, technical agronomist in northern Wisconsin.
All right, Sammie and I are going to take a few minutes with you all today, and we're going to discuss about the seed selection process. That's right, combines are rolling for 2021, and we're already talking about seed selection for 2022. But now is the time to begin that decision-making process. We're going to talk about that and how you complement that with picking the right in-season management to maximize that seed investment dollar.
Yeah, so when we're thinking about that 2022 growing season, the first thing that we have to decide is, which hybrids are we going to plant on our farm? And, we know on average, most farms like to utilize 2.6 different brands. And, we really like that genetic diversity thought process. And there's really no better way to accomplish that than by combining the Dekalb Asgrow and the cropland portfolio. And as we're making our product selections, it's always best to start out with what that field needs. So we like to consider things like the different soil types, yield expectations, populations, tillage practices, really starting at the basics. And from there is where we really dive into the Dekalb Asgrow and cropland portfolios to decide which product is going to fit best on that acre. When we're utilizing these brands, we're really taking advantage of some of the newest genetics and breeding programs, such as a Breeding 3.0, to start the 2022 season off on the right path. But product selection is really just the beginning of the game. So from my perspective with Dekalb Asgrow, I have a ton of plots spread out across the state. But it's when I get to combine with WinField United that I get that opportunity to take my recommendations to a whole new level. So, Jeff and I get to work together quite a bit. And one thing we really like to utilize is the response to scores that come out of the answer plot system. So, Jeff, when you think about those response to scores, what all can they tell us?
All right, so when we look at the RT scores, what we see here is, 4 different ratings based on each hybrid, whether it be the cropland, Dekalb, NK, or Brevant hybrids, around their responsiveness to a continuous corn rotation, a fungicide application, nitrogen management, and planting population. And we categorize these as low, moderate, or highly responsive. And this just isn't made at a whim. In the answer plot system, we make all these ratings based off data, and not just a couple plots here and there, but hundreds of plots every year over the last 10 years. So there's a lot of data and a lot of statistical confidence in how we make these ratings. And these ratings really give you as the producer the ability to take a good hybrid and make it great by really dialing in its management, its placement, and ultimately optimizing its performance. So beyond the RT scores, we're also going to look at some physical characteristics of hybrids, such as roots and stalks, dry down, late season intactness, and standability. Now, when you look at the slide here, you see 2 different root structures, 4 different planting populations. And when you look at the hybrid at the top, which has more fibrous root mass, that's going to be a hybrid you're going to place on some coarser textured soils where water holding capacity might be limited. Contrary, you've got the penetrating root on the hybrid at the bottom of the screen here. That's going to be one you're going to get the best performance out of it on, say, a heavy clay type of a soil where you need a strong penetrating root to really anchor that hybrid in the ground. So when you look at physical aspects like that and you couple it with the RT scores coming out of the answer plot system, it really allows you as the grower to set the stage for success for the upcoming growing season. So Sammie, over the last year or so, commodity prices are significantly higher than what they were over the previous 12 to even 24 months or so. What behaviors or management decisions are you seeing growers make out in the countryside that maybe they hadn't been doing in the previous couple of seasons?
Yeah, this last year, many were able to take advantage of those positive commodity prices. And one thing that I'm really keeping my eye on is the investment that was made into fungicide application this year. So as guys are, riding in their combines, those are things that we're kind of really keeping in check on how these different products performed. And, listening to you chat earlier about those response to scores, we know those different genetics could respond a little bit differently to those fungicide applications. So, if we were to take a deeper dive into that response to fungicide score, what may stand out?
Yeah, I mean, as we look at RTF by itself, which we've only tested that for the last 6 out of the 10 years, but when you look at all hybrids tested across all brands, we're seeing an average response of 13.6 bushel per acre. Now, when you do the quick math on that, you can insert your own market price here, but I'm going to use $5. 13.6 times 5 is nearly $70 an acre of additional revenue. Take out the application cost and the cost of the product itself, it still leaves a good chunk of net revenue on the table for the producer. Now, if you dial that in even closer and you actually start to look at your moderate and highly responsive hybrids, that ROI increases even more. So that really is where understanding those hybrids and looking at those RT scores can help you get the most out of some of that in-season management, specifically here, a fungicide application.
Yeah, I think 2021 is really that perfect year to reflect back on our treated versus our untreated acres. Because, I mean, we know year after year, Mother Nature can always throw something different. But 2021 really reminded us that Mother Nature can have some pretty big mood swings within 1 year. When I think about just Wisconsin itself, a good chunk of the state started out extremely dry. But then all of a sudden, the moisture turned up. We had a lot of humidity, and we started seeing some disease pressures. And fungicides, such as a Dekalb Complete, can play a huge role in minimizing that risk. But in order to maximize our fungicide applications, there's probably a few more things that go into it. Wouldn't you say, Jeff? I mean, what's the best way that we can get our return on investment with fungicides?
Yeah, one of the most significant things I've seen over the past years is when you take a fungicide and you want to make it better, add Master Lock to the tank. What this does, Master Lock is a drift and deposition aid that really makes a good fungicide even better by getting more of it on the crop and into the crop and deeper within the canopy of that crop. So we've got a video here that I want to queue up showing what the interlock component of Master Lock, which is really the lion's share of the drift and deposition aid, showing what that looks like in the field and why this product makes every fungicide application better. So let's get that video going here.
Interlock, a drift-reducing and deposition adjuvant, benefits aerial applications. Here you see water applied alone. Notice the fine droplets hanging above the field. Now watch as interlock is included in the spray tank. You see a deeper blue color and less fine mist or small droplets, and the spray drops faster to the field. Now watch as the two passes are compared top to bottom.
Pretty profound footage there. I mean, they always say a picture's worth 1,000 words. I think this video might be worth a few more there. And, when you look at that, you start to think about the penetration aspect here of Master Lock in the tank. And by allowing that fungicide to be able to be driven deeper into the canopy, you get better coverage on the lower to middle part of the canopy, which is where a lot of the fungal pathogens actually start earlier in the season. So this too, in turn, gets more ROI out of that fungicide application.
Yeah, Jeff, I think coverage is a great call out when we're talking about getting the most out of every dollar that's spent, because at the end of the day, the checkbook can have a pretty big impact on management decisions that we're going to be making. So is WinField United doing anything to boost a grower's confidence in fungicide applications when we're applying them to the Dekalb Asgrow or cropland products?
Yeah, WinField is. We've got a program that we're calling Impact RX. And long story short, WinField's putting our money where our mouth is here. We've got so much confidence in our data coming out of the answer plots here, specifically around RTF, that we're willing to work with growers by offering a warranty to help shoulder some of the risk and the additional cost of a fungicide application, as long as they're picking some moderately high to highly responsive hybrids here for that fungicide application. So really what it is, it's to build confidence within the growers that the financial risk is going to be reduced, because we're so confident in our ROI from that fungicide application that we're willing to back it up. So
no, that's awesome. And as we bring everything full circle, as growers are deciding, which brands they're going to utilize for that 2022 season, I think it's really safe to say that when you're utilizing Dekalb Asgrow and the cropland portfolios through your local WinField United retailer, they're going to get more than just a product. And we have the data to back up a lot of these placements. And when you pair yourself with these retailers, you're going to get all that information to help you not only place your products, but also manage those products throughout the growing season. So really great portfolios that we can slim down to hopefully get, two products out or 2 brands out on the farm.
That's right. So on behalf of Sammie and myself, Cropland and Dekalb Asgrow, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for your time and attention today. And if you have any questions, please remember, reach out to your local WinField United retailer. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.